Real 92.3 iHeartRadio, the voice of Los Angeles. Hello. I think LA basketball right now is bigger than we've seen it in years past. There's an excitement, of course, with the Lakers. The city feels good on all levels of sports, not just on a professional level. I haven't seen high school basketball this exciting in years in Los Angeles.
High school basketball has always been important in Southern California, but it's really changed. It's only in recent years that Southern California rising up because of the growth of the internet and social media. And then you have this recent year of just great talent. And people moving to Southern California from out of state.
Everybody's talking about the Trailblazers.
This is no ordinary high school basketball team.
You got the Lakers, you got the Clippers, and you got Sierra Canyon High School.
Raise your hand if you won a state championship before. So if I were you, and I were coming into a new situation where the team has won back-to-back state titles, seems to me that you guys will be trying to do everything that we asked you to do if it's very important for you to win. Our legacy is to win championship after championship after championship. We don't settle for anything else. I don't like losing at all, not one game. And you guys have the ability to go undefeated in every game we play and crush everybody's spirit from the beginning. It is going to be my goal to get you to that level. You might hate me this year, but when you leave here, one day you're going to thank me, because I promise you, you ain't leaving this mother without getting better. It is my promise to you. So you will get better or you will quit.
Sierra Canyon hasn't lost a playoff game since 2018.
Last year, they played well together. They loved each other. We had Scottie Pippen Jr., Kenyon Martin Jr., Cassius Stanley. We actually had that group for some years, so we were able to kind of mold them. I think we went 24-3.
It spoke volumes for Coach Andre, the way he allowed those guys to grow, going back-to-back state champions the last 2 years.
The difference between last year's team and this year's team is this team is rock stars.
It's a circus-like atmosphere every place they go to play. They are a national treasure this year.
Staples Center is a place to be. Maybe even Sierra Canyon can go there and play a game.
More than 5,000 tickets were purchased in just 9 hours.
I'm thinking that this team probably three-peats in the state championship. What do you guys think?
There were so many rumors about who was coming to Sierra Canyon and how would they perform together.
Who's inside? Who's on center court? And you think about it, we're talking about a high school game here.
Ain't no way that I be toting on that strap, don't make no sense. He $1 million, but be posted in the bricks. It make no sense, yeah. It make no sense, no, it make no sense, yeah.
Amari's a beast. No matter what, he's coming at you.
I'm Chicago to the death of me. It's written all over me. There isn't any wall that you can put in front of me that I'm not gonna be willing to break through. When I heard the news that BJ, Z Will, and Z Wade were all coming to Sierra, BJ DM'd me.
BJ's a special talent. He is definitely NBA material.
My bag is deep. A lot of people they got a bag, but my bag is deep. now I might just do a Santa bag, because you know my bag's so big.
I feel like on Gucci Mane in 2006. All these diamonds dancing on my it cost like 4 bricks.
Not even a week later, Z Will posted the same day that they were both coming.
Make no sense, it make no sense.
Zaire Williams, he aspires to be in the NBA. He might have a great career as a politician as well, because he definitely has a way of communicating with people and making them feel good.
I want to learn from any and everything, you know, I'm more than an athlete. Z-Way DM'd me, he was like, should I come? I said, for sure.
He's known as Dwayne Wade's son, and he wants to be known as Zaire Wade.
When people would call me Dwayne Wade's son, and I would tell them, I have a name, respectfully, Zaire.
Back to back when we ride.
Shy gave up a lot, moving from Boston to LA.
Just as a hooper, man, Shy is very talented. A lot of people probably got a little glimpse of what kind of player Shy could be. But in the future, man, he's about to be a problem.
I want to set my family up for success, lead the way, and give everybody the opportunity to be what they want to be and do what they want to do.
Make no sense, make no sense, no, make no sense, young boy, make no sense.
I was already waiting on Bronny to come. For real, I wanted to play with him, so.
Bronny is on like a whole nother universe. Basketball-wise, he's just got gifts that just are God-given.
I'm just Bronny. I don't really get called LeBron anymore.
You come here to win. Like, you don't come to Sierra Canyon for any other reason.
I've been coaching for about 20 years now. I don't think there's no pressure greater than the pressure that I put on myself. As a coach, sometimes you have to endure the hatred of your players or allow them to use you as their rallying cry in order to help them to be great. It doesn't faze me at all. My way of mentoring, having conversations, I think that's something that you have to get used to. I come from the project, so people can, say what they want. For me, as a player, I definitely felt the pressure. I was fighting the battle of dealing with, a disability, and proving to the world that I was good enough to play. So I think that pressure was a little bit greater than, what I'm doing now. We, every day, try to reach perfection, knowing that we can't get there, but, hopefully we'll hit excellence and continue to move forward and accomplish great things as a group.
He has his own demeanor, the way he coaches, and obviously he wins games, wins championships, so it works.
I'm a truth teller, and I'm gonna tell you the blatant truth. I'm not gonna be abrasive about it, but I am gonna tell you the truth so that you can make an adjustment, get better. You can take my information and use it, or you can throw it away. But I am gonna give you the truth from my perspective.
I don't believe that. Okay.
Oh.
Here. Okay, here we go.
It's okay.
Coming out to LA, it's just, honestly, like, I feel like once I came into the school, like, I don't know.
1, 2, I'm ready, go.
Going to Sierra Canyon is like, I'm watching a school in a movie, but like, I'm actually in the school.
Up
was just different coming out here. It's like a movie. I still say it's crazy to this day. The teachers, the students, everything, because where I come from, it's not like that. It was a public school of 4,000 kids. It was just different than me coming out here.
Growing up in a small city, Lancaster, middle-class family, I'm kind of new to it.
This is not the normal high school. This is a very elite academic school, for as much as the basketball team gets its props.
Everyone here is related to somebody. They can just seem like a normal person, but nah, they're related to an actor or a comedian or a rapper.
When you see Harold walk anywhere, everyone stares, everyone points. It's just human instinct. You see someone 7'3", you're gonna look. And he doesn't like being pointed at. He's been stared at his whole life. So all of these kids that are celebrities, they're kind of used to dealing with it. And now he's not just a standout. Now you're a part of this group, and it's like, tall kid. Oh, but that's Bronny. Oh, that's Zaire Way. He's not just being singled out, and that makes me happy.
When I first heard we were going to China, I'm like, ain't no way.
I thought the China experience was important for Harold and for the team to understand what Harold had to deal with and endure, being a foreigner, eating foreign food, trying to get used to a foreign culture. So I thought it was very important that our kids saw how he lived and saw, what he had to deal with on a daily basis.
They're flying commercial. With a guy like Harold at 7'3", I hope they bought him 2 seats so he can either stretch to the left or stretch to the right.
We have a middle seat in the X row. So I don't know if that would... It's more leg room. Yeah. Probably a little better than a window, huh? All right, thank you, sir.
China gave them an opportunity to see what we were going to have to be dealing with throughout the year. It allowed us to bond.
I didn't really know everyone before that trip, but we all came together a lot.
To be like rock stars in China, it feels amazing.
China was crazy. I loved it out there, actually. The people, they loved us, so we had to put on a show for them. Well, I know I put on a show for them.
I couldn't imagine being 15 years of age and everybody knows your name. I couldn't imagine, walking in and people chanting your name. People know exactly who you are.
The reason why we traveled so much was we wanted to try to win a national championship. The only way that we were going to be able to do that was play a national schedule, travel to these other people's homes, and put together a record that could put us in the argument for the #1 team in the nation.
Just like this.
We're not afraid to play anybody, anywhere. We'll come to your state and play in front of your home crowd, wherever. Let's get it on.
Sierra Canyon against the John Marshall Justices. If you're looking to get tickets, good luck. That event, it's sold out.
Coach Andre, he told us we were going to be the most hated team in the country. I mean, he definitely wasn't lying, man.
Every super team was hated. the Celtics, the Heatles, the Golden State Warriors. So anytime you have a team of people with kids that come together, people are gonna naturally hate them.
We'll call and record it on the other way.
And it's just, it is what it is.
There's a lot of people on the left and right, so we just want all y'all to stay together. All right, just don't wander off. If y'all need to wander off and your family member can't get to the door or something, let me know, let John know. We'll go get them. If you want to go get your parent after the game, just let us go with you, or let us go get them and bring them back. All right, just let us know where they're at. All right. Yeah, they crazy.
When you're number one, everybody's gonna come after you. In the beginning of the game, they try to get at them, like nag them, poke at them, throw things at people. A lot of people want to be SC.
Look, I love it. It's brothers and sisters. No, that look like if you jump in, but these are it's gonna be jumping. Watch.
Their games sell out in like 30 minutes. They can sell out arenas and fill arenas that even pro teams can't fill in.
To the top. People are gonna be standing. They're gonna be on our ass.
Everybody's coming for us every game. We're gonna get everybody's best shot.
It's just a hostile environment, and you can either take it or you can't.
Harold Hughes standing at midcourt, all set to take the tip.
History shows you that people hate the great. They want to see you get knocked off your so-called high horse. They want to be the ones that give you the L.
Another aggressive take and the foul.
People treat Sierra Canyon as the villains because they're a super team.
Let's go, no let up, SC! Finish this!
This is high intensity, high play.
Wait, wait!
Amari is fearless, like he be wanting to fight in the game. I'm like, bro, like, come on, relax. Like, you don't gotta go that hard on him.
I play basketball, so like, you know, like after you play me, you don't want to play basketball anymore.
Amari, if you're supposed to be our leader, you can't ditch up because the referee ain't giving you a call or something ain't happening for you the way you like. Smart. You throwing balls and throwing shit to people, that ain't man shit. Y'all got this shit flipped. When you can hold yourself together, when shit ain't right, that's real man shit. When you gotta throw a ball at somebody or act like you tough, that's bull. You ain't tough when you do that. Toughness is executing. Toughness is locking your man down on defense. And right now, we're showing zero toughness. Everybody that we play is bringing their best game against you. Everybody that you play. Don't settle. Being a monster means you do it every day. Being elite means you do it every day. We're going right away. Let's go.
Yeah, execution.
Bitch, I'm dying. Figure out 1, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Let's see what Andre Chevalier said to his men.
Live Shaq West, bitch, I'm dying Shaq West. Live Shaq West, bitch, I'm dying Shaq West. Live Shaq West, bitch, I'm dying Shaq West. Live Shaq.
And here comes Sierra Canyon. Just like that from Bailey.
And always a strong finish by Boston.
pull one of those cops.
That was crazy. The intensity. You could tell they was mad.
I'm trying to get out of here too. Hell.
That game was really the beginning of everything.
There really was no comparing to the scrutiny that was being given to Sierra Canyon. I mean, they went to 8 different states for games. That's never been done before in California. So they had the challenge of going to school during the week, then flying out. It was like they were on a college or professional team. And these are teenagers, and nobody knew how they would react or how they would perform. You have the people that love them, and you have the people that hate them.
I'm in the way, folks. Sorry.
What? What'd you say? See my dog Pedro. Pedro!
Hey, look, this is the man right here, all right? He does a lot of hard work for this school that nobody sees. He's the man. He's the man. Tell him, Harold, hey, Harold, move. This is my shot. This is my moment. Boston boy, Kentucky Wildcats. Mr. Boston, how you doing today, man? Take 2.
Z-Wave, boy.
One name is B and one name is Z. Okay? And these are my G's.
He just always brings positive vibes, positive energy, you know.
Terrence Frank, do you have time for one question, sir?
He doesn't want to have to lean upon his dad for anything he does in life. He wants to earn everything. He wants to compete and fight for a scholarship.
So on the recruitment front, how's that whole process been going for you?
Since I got to Sierra, it's picked up a lot. I have a lot of new interest, and we'll see towards the end of the year.
Dylan Black here, reporting live with ESPN. Dylan, are you excited about tonight's game?
Yes, sir.
Dwayne Wade is in the building. Alley-oop and a throwdown for Zaire Wade.
That makes Dad happy. Hey, look at the Euro step. They call him Z-Wade. And how about Gabrielle Union pumping her fist?
We went in by, what, 20, 30?
20, 30. Wow.
What'd you think?
A lot of confidence there, Dylan.
Z-Wade having himself a ball game. Look at the pump fake and then the step back.
When you get a fast break, what you gonna do again?
Shut up, Goldilocks.
Oh, Goldilocks.
So you cooking me?
It's to figure number 2,
Oh. He's the one who said your knees are gonna lock.
Oh. Cut.
So we had a flight the next morning, and I got it checked, and they said I tore some ligaments in there, and they said I'd be out for 8 weeks. I thought they was playing around because I've never had an injury like that serious before. When they said 8 weeks, I was like, dang. Everything was going good. Coaches were just starting to look at me, and then out of nowhere, it just like stopped.
Why does it sound like a sad movie over here? I'm depressed. I'm depressed. Why? Let's take a look. Go ahead, take a look.
At first, my initial reaction was just like, I was just scared. You know, I thought my whole season was over. I really like, damn, you can't take basketball for granted. You know, every moment you are healthy and you got a chance to work out, or you got a chance to do this, like, do it. You feel me? Because when you can't do it, you really can't do it. Like, I had a boot on and I could barely walk. Like, I just couldn't work out. Bro, we gonna have all middle rows in the back. You know I get what I'm on.
It's not even really hurt.
Oh, damn, you see, for real, I got a shock in that motherfucker. Like,
Shut the hell. Baptize a bucket in the hoop.
No. All right, anyway, so let's get going. So the idea is, I want to know there's 2 up here that are identical, and only 2 that are identical. I'm asking.
So Shy came to me and he brought up Sierra Canyon, and I was like, well, why? What is this about?
I basically saw it as opportunity, getting practice with Division I guys every day for the next couple of years. That should be really good for me.
We reached out and we applied like normal people, because remember, we're not affiliated, a family member, or, you know, relative to anybody famous. We are rock solid, middle class type people. When we told our family that we were moving across the country, they kind of was like, are you serious? No, you're not. Why? You know, like, for what? Why can't we just, you know, stay here in Boston and, you know, like, put Boston on the map?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C5. We got 5, 6, and 8.
When everybody heard about the opportunity for Shy to grow and develop and try to take his game and his education to the next level, they were all for it. Yeah, eventually.
Wait, what she asked? What did she ask?
If they both have a carbon
That's the
backbone.
butane part of it. Is that carbon sort of structure?
Wait, they have a straight carbon.
And then the iso.
Right. Don't.
But Nate County, Georgia, that's where I'm from. There's a whole diversity of different people there. Public school teachers don't really care. They just, it's 32 a class.
Are we supposed to do 3 with the one? Wait.
Just leaving there, knowing I wasn't gonna come back, it's crazy. You know, I still miss it there, but you know, life got other plans, so. You know, just my day-to-day life, all I do is I wake up, train twice in the morning. I go in the afternoon, get recovery, you know, and then train later in the day and just get my rest in between there.
Next.
Go for that one.
Where's your bridge?
Oh, you see, there's no room left on the table.
I can hold it because it's special.
You see, well, you want to go get our bridge?
Okay.
Well,
You know, being a student here, it was crazy because it's only like 12 people in the class. The teacher's really into it with you and the students are into it.
Let me give you some advice about the books. If you don't get the first one centered, you're screwed. Who wants to break the bridge first?
You know, so we had to build a bridge. And it was like whoever held up the most books would win.
6, 7. Oh no.
Like his knee broke.
Oh, game over. Next.
So we ain't paint ours, we just had sticks. Everybody was looking nice. Ours was generic. So they was like, oh, they was hating, like, oh, y'all not gonna win, blah, blah.
Who's next? Who's next? Yeah, you wanna go? I think that's great. I think that's great. Awesome. Oh God.
Oh,
shit. You can do it.
Brothers, was he Will? You know you the smartest. Come on, do it.
Bro, I'll put the no.
Boston.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
My God, Boston. Please.
No.
Whoa. Hey, everybody relax. Take a deep breath.
We're relaxed.
We
It's
good.
you who's uptight.
I know I am.
Yeah.
It's hot in the room.
Go ahead, you the next, man.
I don't want to.
Come on.
Oh, we're getting 7.
It's gonna hold more than 2.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
That thing, you
gotta
gotta
believe,
believe,
brother.
brother.
Okay, no passengers.
That thing is on the gangster lean.
If you don't put down a book,
I'm scared, bro.
6.
Snap.
You can do it.
Nah, it's good. We good, bro.
Nah, bro.
It moves,
That's what you think.
Come on, man. Gucci.
What are we talking about?
At 7.
Look.
Just has to hold this one. You're out of the C range.
Oh, no C's, please.
We is good.
Hey.
Well, mission success for my brothers. Let's keep on going.
We had the most books and they were just quiet the whole rest of the class.
Maybe we can bottom of the rack. I didn't even know I was going to do it. Caught me off guard.
14.
Bring us some more. Matter of fact, give us 35. What is that? We gonna get a 35 record.
I would love that.
Watch our stand on it. It's the
18.
grip. Brothers know how to cook. Oh! Lost it.
So that was
Okay,
17.
brothers.
Well done. Okay, you pick up the books.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Well done.
We might have got us a little 95.
Who's next?
96.
Who's next?
Sweat, go ahead.
Here we go. Yeah.
Are we going?
There you go, Juju.
That's what I like to see.
We got a system, y equals 3x minus 34. Y equals 2x minus 5. Is one of these variables by itself?
Yes.
Which one? This y is by itself. Y is 3x minus 34 here. Wait a minute though. This y is by itself too. So Corey, right here, Corey. Yeah, you talking to your neighbor over there. I see you. I was not here. Corey, little.
I'm a math student. I like math a lot. I think I got it from my dad. I don't get any extra attention really in school, but I do have a hoodie on a lot. Like I do have my hood on a lot. I do have my headphones a lot in school. So I don't really talk to a lot of people other than my teammates in school. It's been so long since someone has regularly called me LeBron Jr.
You're not showing any signs of slowing down. Do you see yourself playing when your son is eligible for the draft?
My son is in the 9th grade, and he's a kid.
Equals, help me out. Negative 29, right? Negative 29.
And we're not even thinking about nothing besides how he can be a great teammate, how he can be a great son, how he can be a great brother to his little brother and little sister. My son has played like 6 games into his freshman year, and I haven't seen one. Missing my son, I mean, I understand it's the business, but it sucks. For me to potentially have the opportunity to go watch my son play tomorrow, and also versus my alma mater, it is a pretty surreal, come full circle, unbelievable thing.
No, I really got superpowers.
No, you don't.
I do. I have anime powers.
No, I really, no, look.
Kame.
Welcome to Columbus, Ohio, for what promises to be a special night. LeBron James is here to watch his son Bronny play a high school game in person for the first time. Freshman Bronny and Sierra Canyon are here to face his dad's alma mater, St. Vincent St. Mary. 5 state championships. This program has not disappeared since LeBron graduated.
I just tried to calm myself. All the attention, all the media around it. I just tried to calm my nerves and take my mind off it. I've been dealing with it for basically my whole life, so it's kind of normal for me.
Leading up to that game, we knew it was going to be a lot of media attention. But when we got to the game, We didn't know it was gonna be like that.
Can you imagine with Bronny, people are expecting that is the next LeBron James. So already it's hard enough for someone to say you're the next, whoever it may be, outside of your house. But somebody's telling you that you are the next LeBron James, and LeBron James is your dad. That's different when it's the bloodline, because a lot of times, man, we don't see the kids as great as the parent.
And for a game like this, they needed a Nationwide Arena, home of the Columbus Blue Jackets in the NHL.
I just remember talking to him before the game and just telling him, like, yo, it's you, kid, you know, like, you got to go out and get it. I just know how special it is when I play in front of my pops and my people, so I can only imagine how special that was.
What was it like walking in the building? This place went crazy, and you realized I'm actually here for the first time, getting to watch my son play.
I think I was a lot more nervous than my son.
You've stayed so connected to St. V's. You provided them with these uniforms that they're wearing against your son tonight.
For us, this is for us. We built for this. We built for this. Hell yeah, bro. Hey, turn me up on 3. 1, 2, 3, turn me up.
Kenyon wants to run. 2-on-1 here, and Burnham finishes the alley-oop. Ramar Pryor finishes at the other end, off the turnover by Frank. They're just as tough. Harris, the floater, drops in. A turnover by Sierra Canyon. Branham, the run out, and the bucket.
3 consecutive steals. Sierra Canyon wants a timeout.
Andre Chevalier wants to talk about it with his team and stem the tide.
Our defensive intensity has to pick up. They're getting whatever they want, whenever they want.
My buddy from Ohio said that if you don't play good, that you're canceled. So that gave me a little bit of motivation.
Here's Bronny James.
Oh, that's a beautiful scoop.
With the left hand, now 12 points for Bronny. Little runner from about 17 feet, and now Bronny's in double figures.
It's gonna sound crazy, but like, once that starts happening, I just go into like a mode where I don't know, like I can't hear nothing really. I don't really pay attention to it.
Bailey, 3-ball from the corner for Sierra Canyon. Big shot. Boston off the steal, he lays it in. With 1:02 remaining, the Trailblazers are down by 1.
Ronnie, see if we get a steal on the ball too.
Knowing that my dad is watching me, when I score, it gives me a boost of adrenaline.
Oh, the deflection and the steal by Bronny James, and the finger roll off the glass. Bronny has given Sierra Canyon the lead. Bronny James with the best performance of his young high school career, back in the state of Ohio, with his dad looking on courtside. And Sierra Canyon pulls it out, 59-56 against LeBron's alma mater, St. Vincent, St. Mary.
Appreciate it, man. Love it, man. Good kid. Hey, you turned your ankle on that steal there a little bit. You got my knee buckle. The knee buckle a little bit.
If I was a freshman like Bronny,
on the team that had to endure the media like we had to this year, I don't know if I would have been able to handle it.
Bronny is on like a whole nother universe, and understanding his maturity and his sense of self at his age. You would think LeBron's kid would walk around carrying himself like he's royalty, and he's the most normal kid in America. He's so down to earth.
Great game, King.
Big three, clap that victory.
Turn me up.
Sit down, we ain't done yet. Wait till we done.
Go ahead down, Z Will. Sit down.
I have one question for you. Why don't you guys play like you played in the second half all the time? And you guys didn't even play half as well as you can. But I respect the fact that you guys dug deep, you fought, right? But these games are war games.
Yeah.
How long is the list of great players to come out of Sierra Canyon?
Oh, it is really long.
A convincing display for Sierra Canyon,
Get your numbers up.
Talk to me.
I had to get my numbers up.
who remain perfect on the season.
Got it like they gave it to me. But I took it, they ain't give it to me. She really do it to me. God knew
Sierra Canyon will keep their #1 ranking.
shooting for me. What up, gang? I started hooping for the Nike check. I play tennis for the Rolex. I be really good. I really got it. Ain't no secret to it.
They are looking dominant at this stage of the season.
She really do. She really got it. I had to do it. She came through.
I definitely didn't think it was gonna be like this. You know, it's tough. Wanting to help, but can't do nothing from the bench, really. I think I'm just getting back now. Yeah, lately, flashy practices, I've been doing pretty good.
Come on, D-Wade. Good shot, Z.
So these next 2 games, we'll see what coach put me in a little more.
Oh.
I ended up transferring to Sierra Canyon. Ineligibility period was very frustrating. I could practice, but I couldn't play any games.
So are you playing at all right now?
No, I'm ineligible because I transferred, so California has this weird rule. It's killing me, but you know, they're trying to do whatever I can to help them, like just trying to be a leader and more vocal. That bone is like so irritated. Ooh. Z-Wade, it's been hard on him for sure. I've been trying to help him a lot too, because I've been unlucky. I've been dealing with injuries since my freshman year.
During that time, because I was like, dang, I gotta get back. When I was cleared to return, I talked to the coaches, and they just told me that I was gonna ease into my, back into my role.
Zaire Wade, earlier this season, had to recover from an ankle injury under the spotlight.
Number 2, Zaire Wade.
I just remember wanting to, show that I was back ready.
Obviously, he has so much pressure on him to be like his father.
Zaire Wade, pull up, is good. And Zaire Wade finally getting it going with his first points of the night.
There's a lot of pressure there. Z he can, he's a little bit more flash to him.
And Sierra Canyon We go back and forth to sloppy turnover.
Come on, Z. It's a bad pass. It's too close. Too close. It's too close. Hey, you can make a mistake. That's called basketball.
Don't worry about that. You good.
Hey, you can make a mistake. That's basketball.
Let's go. Get it back. Get it back. Let's go.
It won't be your last mistake. Get rid of it.
The three. 20 on the shot clock. Zaire Wade trying to dish it for Odin.
Shoot the ball. Come on, Z. Shoot the ball. You won't have that problem. You gotta shoot the ball. The part about Z is he's trying to play no mistake offense. You know what I'm saying? Because he's getting a lot of minutes. I don't know. He'll be all right. It's hard to play like that, but he got to make smart decisions. It's hard to play not being able to make no mistakes, but you got to make smart decisions.
You know, we all really try to tell him, nobody wants him to be like his dad. Like, we all want him to be him. We want you to be Z Wade. And that's like really what we say to him in order for him to not feel like he's not living up to his dad's name.
I remember at one point in my life when people would refer to me as Dwayne Wade's son or whatever, I just wouldn't answer, or, you know, and I would tell them if I do, you know, I have a name, respectfully, Zaire.
It's not like just some freaking spoiled rich kid who has this Hall of Fame dad and thinks he deserves the world and everything is handed to him, you know? He's just one of us, you know? Then he has to go back home and deal with all this media. You suck, you're just on the team because your dad is whoever he is, you know. That's what he has to deal with every day when he doesn't get a chance to perform. So it sucks, man, it sucks. It really does. Z Wade wasn't having his best day. The game brought him down, you know.
I think like that's how it is in basketball. You know, you're fighting for minutes every time you step on the court. You know, they just was telling me down there like, hey, pick your head up, you're gonna get back in. So I didn't feel like Z Will in particular was the person. If there was anybody to take my minutes, so it wasn't like anything, you know, extra against him.
Hard to, you know, get significant playing time on this team. I mean, they're just so loaded with talent.
They're going to get more loaded because Zaire Williams will be eligible on Monday.
While Zaire Williams is one of the nation's best players and everyone would love to have him, holy mackerel, you know, where are you going to find 25 to 30 minutes for him?
Zaire Williams will be dressed in uniform and playing tonight.
Saying they the GOAT, but I can't buy into the hype. I dig deep into my spirit when I spit into the mic. Signed a contract like Carmelo, I'm just trying to ball. I'm out of town before we blitz him, he been trying to stall. With clips we pop out tape and shoot, like who need a trim. Inherit hate, it got me wondering, can we forgive? Everybody got their input on how we should live. Oh, life on the road, I barely see the crib.
The #1 team in the region, Sierra Canyon, a perfect 14-0 take on Rancho Christian.
When I came back, obviously it took us some time to figure each other out, you know.
goes. Thrown the Kings of high school basketball, 85-81 over the mighty Sierra Canyon, ending a 14-game winning streak.
That's real, huh? Y'all thought I was bullshit about how physical it was gonna be. I hope you're mad at your own effort because you guys think that every game we're gonna win, we're gonna find a way to make a miracle and win a game. Not acceptable. So please look in the mirror and self-reflect.
Am I hurting this team? They were undefeated before I came, so why all of a sudden when I come back, we lost? I think what the coaches were doing, where they were trying to keep everything balanced, let everybody get their burn, but still win the game. But at the end of the day, if there's one thing I know about Coach Dre, he doesn't like to lose.
At all. Not one game. Our legacy is to win championship after championship after championship. We don't settle for anything else. You know what that is? Get on the baseline. We ain't discussing finals. Y'all about to run right now. Y'all gotta go down and back twice in 11. Y'all better take off. Get behind the line. Ready.
Go.
Come on now.
Let's go.
Push.
First loss, that one hurts. The chemistry was off. You could just see it. It was like palpable.
Three hard. Three hard.
The players, I think, thought that they were so good that they could beat anybody. They needed a wake-up call.
Slide, run, run. Slide, run, run. Yeah, Tookie. Last word, last word.
They needed to get better if they were going to be able to play for a state championship.
The appetite for high school sports is greater than most people realize. When Minnehaha Academy scheduled a game for next week for a team that features LeBron James' son, Bronny, they thought it might sell out their high school gym. Oh, they were wrong. Well, next week they will play at Target Center, and already 8,500 tickets have been sold.
I mean, we traveled over 40,000 miles, and we traveled more than some NBA teams and college teams. And even for NBA teams, they're gonna hit a wall during the season. And that's grown men. And we're talking about some kids right here.
In December, we were literally somewhere every weekend. Like, it was a Minnesota trip where we're like, I don't remember where I'm at. Got to a point of like, I'm tired. If I'm tired, the boys have to be tired.
It's hard traveling from state to state, playing back-to-backs and stuff.
Once like mid-season hit, there wasn't really any like social life. You know, like I want to go to the Benny Hibachi truck, or I want to go to BJ's crib, but like Shy come over. Like there wasn't that much time. But like once season like starts, I just want to lock in for real, for real. Sleep a hoop. Just sleep a hoop.
Yo, lock in real quick. I'm about to go over it. So number one, who's their best player? Who I already told you guys he has ultimate green light to do whatever he wants on the court. Him and number one are averaging about 4 offensive rebounds a game. That's 8 extra possessions that they're getting for their team.
Shot chart showed he was 7 for 17 going to his left.
Points on 22 shots.
On the right side of the paint.
Averaging about 8.5 free throws.
Secondary breakdown every
So if you're not guarding him, you're on his left side.
Playing ball defense.
Just wall up.
All right, that's enough. Anybody have any questions?
Let's go.
Wait, so we at the Wolves Arena?
I get the top while I speed up. Swerving through lanes, I am limitless. For the ones down, I said free up.
Inside the home of the Timberwolves, high schoolers with NBA dreams already.
It's going to be a blowout. Ronnie dropping this one.
As Sierra Canyon, the 2-time defending California state champion, matches up with Minnehaha Academy, a 3-time defending Minnesota state champion.
I was super nervous. The eyes plus just being on an NBA floor, that's like, whoa, that's way too close to where I'm trying to be a couple years from now.
I think they want to do a 45-second interview with you, like. Okay.
Say your questions, man. Ready? Let's go. Zaire, childhood cartoon.
SpongeBob SquarePants. That's still the go-to to this day.
We had over 17,000 people at that game. But even that alone wasn't enough energy to get the kids during that.
Going to Sierra Canyon definitely prepares kids to play at the next level, probably more than any school I've seen in the country. They're already playing in venues that are holding 15, 20,000 people. They're already used to a pretty grueling travel schedule while getting their academics done. You know, Sierra Canyon is not a lightweight school.
You know how rigorous it is and how stressful it is on your body to travel this much and play this much. And we have to play at a high level every game. Everybody's coming for us every game.
The Minnehaha game, we were drained, you know, but at the end of the day, it's no excuse. We all knew what we were signing up for.
Help! Got 12. Help! Jack, go Jack! Go Jack! On E. Smith, an open look. That's an NBA 3. Straight line! Go in! Let me see Will. Off the mark. Ball up the play so they know what they're doing. Oh, had it knocked out of his hands by Suggs. Ronnie, that's your fault.
They go at it, man. You just gotta stay poised. You be patient, bro.
Don't settle. Go at the rim.
Go, Jay. With the block shot. That's a swish. A 3-ball. Rejected again.
Go left, BJ. Go.
Blocked by Holmgren. That's number 10. Ronnie James, an air ball.
I called one time out already?
You're switching everything! Suggs curving his way to the basket. Final 20 seconds of the first half. Suggs, the steal. And he converts.
So listen, you guys are not running anything that we run. We have not run secondary against zone one time.
You guys want to be pros? Pros are talking the whole game.
If you guys are not tough enough to execute, we're not going to be able to get the stuff that we're looking for. When I call it out and I tell you to call it, play. It's a mental thing. Watch your back!
Damn it!
Minnehaha cruises in the second half to knock off the biggest attraction in all of high school basketball.
To have this kind of attention at 15 and 16, there's major pressure on those guys. People can hide on their phones, computers, and say whatever. Not only other students, but grown men. It's crazy, but that's the culture that we live in. Everything is magnified now.
It's hard, but I think the team handled it pretty well. It could get into our mind, but they know like not to let people get under their skin.
I think, we just kind of lost touch of how we really play. We weren't getting the defenses right. We weren't communicating. There was a whole bunch of problems.
We'll get him.
Back to the drawing board again. Back to the drawing board again.
Biggest lead now up to 9 for Minnehaha. Back to a double-digit lead. Sierra Canyon could not lay it home. Minnehaha cruises in the second half to knock off the biggest attraction in all of high school basketball. 78-58 the final score.
Everyone, please pay attention. This is Hamlet, the point of no return. It's easy to go forward as it would be to go backwards, backwards as it would be to go forward. And he is going to choose to go forward. All right, guys, I want to talk about page 115. If everyone can turn to page 115. Ryan, 115. Everyone go to 115. This is such a big soliloquy that we are going to go to that most people know it without ever even reading it before. We are reading the soliloquy known as, does anyone know it?
To be or not
To be or not to be. We're going to have someone read this. All right? Who's going to read it? You guys have a preference? You guys want to see someone read? You want to see Riff? Oh, Riff. This is the guy right here. I think everyone should rise.
Oh, yes.
Stand.
I'll read with the group.
Stand. Stand.
Everybody rise.
Stand. Stand up.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Me too, I just read. I already read.
It's with the group. With the group. As a group.
What Dada? Still taking a
Damn. Dada's going to come in a little bit. He's finishing up the quiz. All right, here we go. On the count of 3. Ready, here we go. To be or not to be? That is the question.
Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles.
Hamlet enters the scene. He's about to do something that's existential. Like, who am I? How is it that I exist in this world? What is my role? Yet, for whatever reason, in this particular play, with this anti-hero, we say, do what you gotta do, Hamlet. Do what you gotta do, to be or not to be.
go, let's go. Come on. Hey. Go.
Hands blue. Now you put it.
Hey, get up, Amari. Good, come on, Harold. Low back. Go, Montoya. Come on, Taryn. Taryn, you gonna get taken out of the game every time, and you gonna be pissed. Get your ass up. Sandy, you wanna talk to Z Will? You can't be celebrating that you made a layup. Yes, and you jogged your ass back. Got a screen, Shy. You're missing too much. Come on, Shy.
Right hand.
You can't keep on dribbling the ball out of bounds off yourself.
I kind of let my mental get to me. I fell into a little hole out here in California. Just missing family, not being able to go home, being in a different space, new people. It got tough. It got really tough. I know when I moved from Chicago to LA, I was like, whoa, like this was like a whole different scenery. So like him dealing with all that, I feel like it built his character a lot. I know the coaches were hard on Shy, pushing him to his limits for sure. I mean, I remember when he first came to Sierra, what happened? I like bowled him in the chest like on a layup, and he just stopped.
And he stopped and grabbed his eye, and Dre stopped him in that moment. He said, if you were a monster, you would have finished and then think about being hurt. You would play through. And he told me away from practice, like nobody ever talked to me like that before.
I challenge Shy and hold him to a high level because I think that Shy has the ability to be great. So when I see him not performing, not going hard, not focused, then I'm going to challenge him to get to a place that I know that he can go to. If you watch the film of us playing in China, you will see what he's capable of. And so we were super excited about what he was going to bring to the table. But there was games where he was wonderful, and there was games where he didn't show up. I was just pushing him to be consistent and to be elite.
I was actually hanging out in Calabasas the night before with some friends.
Somebody sent it to me in a group chat. And I just, swiped out whatever, not thinking it was nothing.
I was going through my phone and I saw a post.
I was sleeping at one of my friend's house. Like, he came to wake me up. He was like, Kobe just died. I was like, shut up, like, I'm going back to sleep. I went to sleep, woke back up. The next morning I wake up and I'm home and I look at my timeline, I see like 50 texts like Kobe just died.
Breaking news this Sunday afternoon, five-time NBA champion, former league MVP Kobe Bryant died earlier this afternoon.
Retired Los Angeles Lakers basketball star Kobe Bryant has been killed in a helicopter crash. It happened this morning. He was, of course, one of the most legendary players in NBA history, starring for 2 decades with the LA Lakers.
This is going to be like JFK. You will remember where you were when Kobe Bryant died.
I went to practice and I just remember crying, just not knowing what to do. It's crazy. It's crazy.
For a lot of them, Kobe is like their hero.
It still hasn't really hit me yet, like that Kobe's gone, man.
That hurt me. I cried about like 7 times that day.
Z Wade and Bronny, they called Kobe Uncle. It was just devastating to everybody.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, it was a hard day.
We took time out from practice so we could go sit there and go watch and support the middle school team. And I think that probably took a lot of edge off of the kids, just to see younger kids play and just to have fun and smile and laugh.
I remember my dad. We didn't even say nothing. I just gave him a hug. There wasn't really much to say. So.
The loss of Kobe Bryant is hitting the LA community, the NBA community, the sports world, and in fact, people all over the world really, really hard.
It definitely hurt the team knowing that some of them had a personal relationship with him, like Z Wade and Bronny.
All right. Honor Kobe today by the way that you guys play. All right. Again, Mamba mentality, right? Just to give great effort and play be elite for the rest of this night. All right. Let's have fun with it.
I got to see people who are like actually close to him and people that call him family. You know, I saw how they were reacting to it.
I knew, well, I didn't know Gigi as well, but I knew Uncle Kobe a lot.
LeBron James at Sierra Canyon to watch his son Bronny James play against Campbell Hall. First public appearance for James since the death of Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, I remember Bronny. He's obviously very sad about it, but just had my arm around him and just, telling him that we're gonna get through this together. I feel like everybody in the world misses Kobe, but if you know him, it's just a little different. He was like an uncle to me. Every time I saw him, he was just happy. He always gave me advice on how to approach life, the game.
And they've set the shot clock to 8 seconds. The other number worn by all-time Laker great, Kobe Bryant.
I think it's important that we allow people to mourn. So, if there needed to be tears shed or anger or whatever it is, we allow them to get that out. But we also talk to them about what would Kobe do in this situation. He would still go out and play the game. He would still be focused, and he would play at an elite level.
There's nothing like family. You see LeBron surrounded by family, sharing embraces. These moments that we're witnessing are very important for families, especially when you're grieving. It's sort of therapeutic at times. It's cathartic.
We just wanted them to go out and, use this experience in their life to get better. Not just on the basketball court, but in every aspect of life. Because, this is a great example of not knowing if tomorrow is going to show up for you.
Oh, yeah.
To me, they're just, some kids, man. Some normal kids that just happen to be great at what they do. They're teenagers. So some days you gotta be on them. And you gotta tell them every day to do something. And learning the system and learning the process and learning just the environment.
Don't they have the clips on their phone?
Yeah. And the film and the scouts and all of that stuff.
Every team gets to watch us. They get to just turn on ESPN or go on their ESPN app and watch us.
You're watching high school
Sierra
basketball.
Canyon,
The two-time defending California
17,000 people.
Of any of the teams we've had in our 3-year stint that I've been here, this is the team that watched the least amount of film. You can't just be always in the gym. That's not the only thing to be good at basketball. There's so many other things that come with it, and one of it is preparation.
Yep. So please do not look at them and think that they can't play. We are in their state. They are well rested.
They're not athletic, are they?
Yeah.
They are?
Yeah.
We give them no excuses when it comes to preparation.
That Lehigh game, we just weren't on the same page. Lehigh knew what our weakness was. They exposed it.
Through the press.
We were pressing them like full court, and there's one kid, their point guard. He broke it every time with ease.
Curbelo, circus jump. They're making everything right now. Get back!
The press would work sometimes, but sometimes we would get our butts whooped.
Yo, all you guys gotta do is just sprint. All you gotta do is just run. If y'all just jack it. Levin's already tired, man. He is tired. He's not moving. He's busting our ass. Listen. We're trying to listen.
And Sierra Canyon trailing at halftime. Long Island Lutheran is game for this one.
As a team, we felt like it wasn't working.
So what we decided to do was in the locker room at halftime was be vocal about it.
Why we have to use our life because we're bigger and stronger? We're wasting our energy in the press, bro, running around it. We're getting tired from it.
If you guys get tired, you got to let me know so I can make an adjustment on the defense. We're standing in the press for a reason. We're trying to wear them out for the fourth quarter.
They weren't watching the film that they needed because they figured they would just show up and win. So this team wasn't buying in because they weren't doing their homework.
Curbelo waiting for Bailey to come to him.
Yeah, ball screen's good situation too.
Curbelo from bonus distance.
We had a game plan that we thought would have won the game. They needed to understand that, and they didn't.
Curbelo finishing it off with an exclamation points, and Long Island Lutheran takes down Sierra Canyon.
And as a result, we took an L. I'm gonna say this, you guys are not good enough to do it yourself. If y'all think y'all are, just challenge me and say you wanna go out and play a game. Well, I'll pick a game that you can go out and play and you don't run our stuff, right? This is supposed to be a team effort. It's not supposed to be your team versus our team. And it still is your team versus our team. So you guys can decide what you wanna do. I don't know what y'all came here for, but if you came here for the cameras, if you came here for the celebrity life, if you came here for the shoes, if you came here for the uniforms, you came to the wrong place. You guys need to find a way to trust us that we're trying to help you. There's not one person on this side of the wall that's trying to hurt you. Everything that we're telling you is trying to help you as an individual and help you as a team. And you guys are fighting against us continually, all right? Play hard.
Play smart, play good.
Family on three, be great on three. 1, 2, 3. Family. 1, 2, 3, be great.
Walking in, putting on that Sierra Canyon jersey, you better know that you have all the lights. Everyone's gonna be watching you. Everyone wants to see you make a mistake. You're gonna have your supporters, but you're also gonna have those people preying on your downfall.
That's soft, that's not tough. I don't know what y'all came here for, but if you came here for the cameras, if you came here for the celebrity life, if you came here for the shoes, if you came here for the uniforms, you came to the wrong place.
Curbelo from bonus distance.
Roddy, where's your dad? You need your dad to win.
So first time with acupuncture? Okay. The needles are not gonna hurt. They are thinner than your hair, okay? So that's how thin of needles we're working with. I'm all about communication, so if anything feels uncomfortable, you just let me know, okay? All right. So I'm definitely gonna focus on de-stressing you. We're gonna work on that sleep.
I've been having like these weird like lucid dreams the past few days.
Just about playing?
Yeah, it's so weird.
Wow. You feeling anxious about it?
Lowest moment of the season was that Lehigh game. It was just so much tension going into that game.
I feel like mental health is the most important thing a person needs.
Mental health is by far the most important step to success for Sierra Canyon.
I myself went through a couple breakdowns throughout the season thinking I couldn't do it.
It was the ultimate sacrifice, but it's for the greater good, and all the struggle can't be for nothing.
If you're not mentally there, like you're not gonna accomplish anything.
I meditate a lot. I try to look at certain quotes and stuff just to like guide me through the day.
Deep breaths. Take your time getting up.
The meditation definitely just keeps me locked in, relaxes me. If I miss a shot, got a turnover, okay, let me take a deep breath in, relax, get my mind back in, my mojo back, and then just start back hooping again.
Everyone has their own way of going about things, but mental health plays a big role, not just in like basketball, like how you deal with people, how you introduce yourself, like that all plays a big role.
The whole world hates me. They want me to go to Duke. I swear I'm not going to Duke. I can't.
Who cares what the whole world says? You have offers.
Dude, if I don't go to a good school, I'm gonna be forgotten about. Bro, y'all don't get how this works. I'm gonna have to teach y'all, man. You popping right now, high school, you get all the media. College, there's no camera. There's barely no cameras in college. So all that's gonna be gone.
You get buckets at any D1 college, you're not gonna be forgotten about. John Morant went to Murray State. He was the #2 pick in the draft.
Talk to him right, Rick. Talk to him louder.
Dame Lillard went to Weaver State. Where is that? I don't even know where that is.
That's Dame Lillard.
Here's he win. Here's he win.
Go. Talk to him, it's a motivation. I love you, man. Let's play, man. Let's play basketball. I'm
about to go to medical school right now, man. Figure out.
No, but now my ankle good.
I always say that it's meant for me. I was born into this, you know, I didn't have a choice, so it is what it is. So I just gotta be great at it.
Slow down, we're gonna get everybody in.
Zaire Wade trying to find his place in this Sierra Canyon team.
At guard, a senior, #2, Zaire Wade. All right, Trailblazer.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how Zaire handles playing the point guard position.
Real chance for him to flourish tonight.
Basketball is about momentum, it's about confidence, it's about opportunity. So when the opportunity comes, you can't shy away.
He's gonna be all right.
Can't worry about if the injury gonna come back. Can't worry about what the coach is gonna think if you miss a shot. You just gotta play, fight through it, and continue to believe in yourself, really.
It's a new looking to know each other this year. Here's Zaire Williams, kicks it, and Zaire Wade.
Dazzling pass by Z Wade.
Z Wade hitting from beyond the arc. And that's gonna do it. An incredible night for Sierra Canyon. 117-62. It was a blowout, spaces, but what a convincing win here, Trailblazers.
Sierra Canyon just came out and took care of business.
Hey, yes, sir, bro. Me?
D-Wade, let's go.
Oh, do I have time? time to change clothes or no? Nope.
Just put on a shirt. Sierra Canyon shirt.
I just remember before the game, Z Will and BJ telling me like, yo, this is one of the chances to prove that you should be out here. Like I was ready.
Good, man. Coach doing set, man. North Carolina A&T, doing all right? To see you play out there the way you are, unselfish, man, like that goes a long way. You know what I mean? It goes a long way. You know, I told you, Coach, you know, you got an offer from us, man. We love to get you and your family on campus, man. And, you know, just check us out, man. I'm telling you.
For sure.
Just check us out. We got something going on.
Appreciate you coming all the way out here. Watch me. Listen, it means a lot. It don't happen a lot, so that means a lot.
All right, but I'll be back though, my man. Keep doing, all right?
Yeah.
Stay on top of
Please
the
text me. Yeah, for sure.
And my birthday today, so I'm growing now.
18. You feel me, man? Don't say that. Don't get me hyped up right now, dog. Damn, no, not in front of the cameras. 18, bro.
We learn a lot every time we lose. With the Lou Hao game, you know, after we lost that game, you know, it got everybody on the same page and everybody on the same goal.
The tough conversations are what makes you a man and what prepares you for life. So we are not going to shy away from it. We are always going to run directly to it, deal with it, and move forward.
That was conducive to like all of us coming together, because you can even see like some players and coaches that like may have had like their little tension, all that got thrown out of the way.
That moment right there really helped us come together, really, from coaches and players. It just helped us become a stronger team.
Oh,
Coach Light.
Yo, Coach Hao.
It helped us be trustworthy of each other. Helped us trust each other in hard moments. Players being able to express how they feel means that coaches care.
I'm excited. I'm definitely ready. I'm prepared. I'm preparing for it. You know, this week I'm getting in the gym, get ready so I can, you know, play in front of my family at my best.
First game back in Boston, it was a great vibe. You know, I just felt good about, you know, being home and knowing that I'm gonna see family. For Shy, it was definitely difficult for him, especially in the beginning. You know, me and him used to talk. He used to be like, damn, like, I miss home. You know, he's still young. He's like only 16. You know, he might seem like a big kid, but he's still really young. It was definitely difficult for him. Like, he'd always, when I'd be around him, he'd always be on FaceTime.
I would kill to go back home and play in front of my family and my home crowd, and it was just heartwarming to see like him do his stuff in his own city.
It was kind of like best of my both worlds, you know. I got all my guys from Sierra Canyon, and I also got, you know, my family, and I'm back home. It was like me being in my dreamland.
Just in terms of seeing everybody, I'm ready. You know, I'm ready to say what's up.
There's definitely been many times this year where the game had started and I was looking around, didn't see my mom, and those first couple minutes of the game where I didn't see her, it was always like, I don't know where she's at. Like maybe she's a couple minutes away. Maybe this happened. Maybe this happened. Once I did see her,
let's go, Sean!
like everything just kind of relaxed, calmed down. I could go back to being me. And
listen, I be telling him just dunk everything. Like, don't think about it. Get your buckets, get your dunk, because you're capable. You got the potential.
Yeah, Shai Odom, man amongst boys in this game, even though he's a sophomore. You mentioned that he was a borderline ESPN 25.
Like, show people why you're here. Like, you're not just, you know, this passive player that just throws passes. Dunk on everything.
Nothing shy about that from Odom. Ronnie James fires underneath. Excellent pass. Laid in by Shai Odom, who's got 20-plus family members here. He grew up in Roxbury, about an hour and a half away from here.
that's what I love to see. I love to see my family behind me because they've been behind me this whole time. I just want to put on a show for them.
Shai Odom, yet again.
And make them proud.
Like, I love playing for the team, and all the attention is crazy. The energy in the gyms are wild. Like, it's once in a lifetime type thing.
This one's over, and it is a team win.
That day, that feeling, that really meant the world to me.
I needed him to have a game like this, just to bring his confidence back, with all his family around.
He's back, he needed that. I was about to cry.
Bro, you threw that way out of. I know, but you made me get a highlight.
Free clap, Shai Odom. Hey, listen, great job today. Very impressed with the way you guys are working. Keep on pushing, keep on grinding for each other. I love to see you guys supporting each other, so keep that up.
Get some, BJ.
I love my son. He's my only son, and the sacrifice to follow his dream because he has the potential to be great is a blessing of an opportunity.
You know, I think about it every day, what my mom did just for me. You know, it makes me feel like she's really 100% with me, and I'm with her, because I feel like it's something that's gonna help me and help us in the long run.
Sky's the limit, man. Sky's the limit. That's our hashtag, sky's the limit.
You okay, Kendrick?
She loves us right now.
All the people who've just, you know, been around me my entire life. I don't see me being me without them. Couldn't see it. After the game,
I had a lot of emotions going through my mind.
I'm not tripping about the game, bro. I'm not tripping about the I want to stay home.
I try to be sensitive to the fact that, you know, he wants to stay and spend time with his family. But he has to understand and look forward at the calendar to know what's coming. If you are a CEO and you're spending time with your family and there's a company event that you have to go to, you have to be disciplined enough to go, even when you don't want to. You have to understand that the kids are still in high school. You know, he's a sophomore. They are young men moving into adulthood. So we have to treat them as kids, but also prepare them to be men.
How you just call me dumbass?
If I can teach them to have tough conversations, I think that that's preparation for the next level of their life.
Don't hit me. How you doing?
I'm their first line of defense against life. Let's three clap us winning the league championship. Yeah! All right, this is our first championship of the year. We get in the playoffs, every game is a monster. Us taking care of our bodies is gonna be imperative. You being mentally locked in is gonna be imperative. So let's make sure we don't have no hiccups. I don't hear nothing from the school, nothing. When we get in the playoffs, we go into lockdown mode. We don't talk to parents, we don't talk to administrators, we don't talk to teachers. No, we don't talk to anybody during playoffs. So please don't make me have to talk to a teacher. Do what you gotta do. Can you turn the camera off? Let me say this. Ultimately, our goal is to win the state title. When you get into the open division playoffs in Southern California, anybody can beat you. So we have to be prepared to go to war.
They can't find you!
You know that everybody is coming for our heads. Let's make sure that we're locked in and ready to go.
Reports of a mysterious virus causing pneumonia-like illnesses. It's a novel coronavirus.
Playoff preview, guys. Steve, we'll start off with the open division with Sarah Canyon, #1 team in the state for the most part.
We all just trying to recover in our own different ways.
Aquatic recovery.
I've been trying to tell all these East Coast dudes like that CIF playoff thing is like, it's no joke, man. It's real competitive and it's fun. And I haven't been able to lead my team at my old school to success. So that's our only goal this year is to win that championship. And it's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be fun. And like I said, as long as we stay together, then we can make it happen for sure. I can't wait for that. And everyone's gonna be against us. Everyone wants to see us lose.
I'm always feeling that we gotta win because we have the talent. If we lose, we're gonna be the scapegoat.
Stop overthinking. Stop pressing. You missed some shots. You missed it. Stop thinking about that. Just play basketball.
I think sometimes players are able to unite around a cause of being the best team in the country. You know, but sometimes their rallying cry has to be that they're proving the coach wrong. And if that's what I have to endure to help them to be great and help them to get over a hump or around an obstacle, I'm definitely okay with their rallying cry being, this fool don't, you know, he don't know us. He don't know us. We gonna prove to him how good we are.
It's hard to gauge relationships with coaches because they're gonna be hard on you, they're gonna yell at you, you know, they're gonna do stuff and say stuff that you might not like. But at the end of the day, they all have the same goal for you, you know.
And that's the one thing I love about these kids, man. Once they calm down and compose themselves, you get to see it in their eyes. We are built for this. All the traveling that we've done, all the practice that we had, all the scouts, everything leading up to this moment, we're built for this.
Incredible night from Zaire Williams. Here's a guy who had 17 offers. He says he's narrowed it down to 7.
Where are you at with this whole recruiting process, man?
Just taking it day by day, still have the same top 7. My mind's all over the place, so just when the time comes, I'll let everyone know. Academics has always been #1 for me. My mom always say, if you come home with a C, you are not going on that court, and she would mean that seriously.
Really quick. You'll be all right. Mama, you see, this is CrossFit training.
You have to strive to be the best in the classroom, not just try to be the best on the court. I know it'll all pay off.
Zaire, what does it mean to you to be named to the McDonald's All-American team?
It's an honor, man. A blessing for the men above. You know, just crazy how fast time flies. You know, it's really a marathon. It's just a true testament of how hard work pays off, for sure.
And BJ, how about for you?
It's really a blessing how I can top my high school career off with this game. You know, just show people my talents, just keep it getting better every day. So.
Oh, question over here, guys. Zaire Williams, BJ. Oh, wow. She's leading. Forget you both. Forget you both.
Oh, they have plenty of time for social life. Trust me. You know, they definitely enjoy, you know, being at Sierra Canyon and being in Southern California.
This is what happens when I return home from work.
I'm sure they play games, they hang out, they kick it with their girls, and that's all fine and dandy. But this life is preparation for the next level. There has to be a balance, and your priorities have to be in order if you want to be successful.
Breaking news tonight, the NBA has players quarantined and their locker room testing will be done to all those with the Utah Jazz and probably all those that have come in contact.
No way Drake comes to this.
Drake coming to this game?
Nah, I can believe that. Nah, he for sure pulling up. We in Malibu, exactly, bro. Ronnie, Drake pulling up? Ooh, Mr. Wade, Mr. Wade, Mr. Wade.
We are very precise.
Yeah, we are my spectators.
Looking good, we looking good, we looking good, we looking good. Baby, let's see what we looking like that. Hey, let me point out. That's the three-point line. All the other lines, those are not anything, right? It's only the white line. But I'm just saying, don't be pulling from 25 when you can pull from like.
They usually get off to good starts against other teams. Today, not today. All right, so make sure you punch it right in the mouth from the get-go.
This school. Come on, man.
They are not the program we are.
SC on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Every day I wake up, tunnel vision, make my paper long. Early bird gets the one, so you know what I'm snacking on. I'ma tell you like my mama told me, like Martin Luther King. She say I have a dream.
Drake security big as hell. Drake's.
I know I would break the trend despite the people doubting me. Started from the bottom, did this hell. People trying to get my pockets like they call my phone. They heard me, I can act like no one was home. So tell your boss, so let that with me, so just leave me.
They can't guard you, B-Day. That's why they got to foul you.
Can't go, can't go, can't go. Can't nobody say they vouch for me. 21 and dope, and yes, I'm talking every ounce of me.
Like April. But I don't really want to wait that long. Like honestly, I might just announce it sometime this month.
Individual talent just too much here in Sierra Canyon. They've wrapped up business here, and now they set their sights on defending their state title.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna bust this left right on here, brother. We're gonna bust this. We're gonna go this way, brothers.
I learned a lot from Taryn. Tell me how to deal with school and basketball at the same time as Sierra.
Quiz, just as a review to help you guys out. So let's see how you do. We learned that Islam blended a lot of cultures, right? Yeah. What is the physical evidence we can look for, examples of that cultural blending? Ronnie?
The architecture.
Yes, the architecture. So the examples of cultural blending can be found in the architecture. The reason why architecture would be like a stronger example than their mathematical or scientific advances is that, for example, like a lot of their mathematical ideas they got from like the ancient Greeks, right? And that's all the help I'm giving you today. So you have only a couple more minutes to study before I
Well, Sierra Canyon hasn't lost a playoff game since 2018. Etiwanda has the best defensive coach in Southern California in Dave Kleckner.
2 minutes. 2 minutes to get dressed. 2 minutes, 2 minutes.
Etiwanda, they play real hard and they play scrappy.
Catch and shoot, yep.
Etiwanda has always been one of the best teams out here. They're gonna give us a run for our money.
One more.
And they gonna have their run, just know that. So
Yeah,
don't
they
even
definitely
panic.
gonna have their run. They definitely gonna have their run. You gotta stay sane. Yeah, exactly. Stay sane.
Hey, no matter what y'all do today, it's gonna be with maximum effort, toughness, and y'all gonna play hard.
No weak links. Everybody got each other's back.
The question would always be, can they rise up as a team?
Etiwanda has been one of the premier teams in the state of California the last 20 years.
Every time we've ever played them, it's been a war. People use that word lightly, but I mean, people are gonna go home with scratches, scrapes.
Share the ball, be elite, win another championship.
SC on 3, 1, 2, 3.
SC.
I'm always gonna respect them.
Welcome to the Southern California Open Division Final featuring the Sierra Canyon Trailblazers and the Etiwanda Eagles. The winner on to Sacramento to play in the state championship game. Sierra Canyon is going to come out with a lot of pressure and expect them to full court press.
Campbell here, right on cue. Ahead to Clark, and Clark throws it down. I think Etiwanda's making better decisions here. Kick it back out, and Campbell with a three to retake the lead. This is starting to become a little battle here. Stevenson buries the three.
Be on the string defensively to get stopped.
Boston blew the lay-in.
They're playing so much more disciplined than Sierra Canyon on the offensive end of the floor. What a turnaround by Etiwanda.
Play through contact, no complaint to the referee. For the next 16 minutes, you guys gotta stay as fixed. We can't be fragmented and arguing. No, work together, fight together, win together. All right?
You better go all out, because if not, your heart will be broken quickly, you know? It could all be over with.
Oh, a blocking foul called on Williams.
Oh, he got a technical foul.
Oh, my goodness.
This is a complete meltdown right now by Sierra Canyon.
We're gonna keep fighting. That's what we trying to do. Let's go.
And Pierce too hard, and Campbell got another second chance opportunity and gets it to go down, and they've got a 10-point lead.
Look, Sierra Canyon is in a world of trouble right now.
Well, I've never played that hard of defense in my life, ever. Ever. The last 3 minutes of that Awana game were very emotional for me. I just knew in the back of my head that if we lost that game, that was gonna stick with me forever. Like, whoever got that game, like, it was definitely gonna be, like, posted. Like, everyone was gonna see it, and it wasn't gonna go away. It wasn't just high school basketball.
Corey Bailey going after the official.
Emotions started flooding, and, like, there was, like, a wall in the front of my face, and, like, tears were shedding back. Like, I didn't want this to be my last game with, like, all my best friends, for real, for real.
Hey, we still got time. Keep our hands up. Can't do it by ourselves. Together, y'all, this whole season's for this game.
First action for Tukey Wigington, a sophomore, is going to be in to guard Stevenson. He got a quick turnaround or takeaway, and that is going off of Etiwanda. So Tukey comes in off the bench, and then he goes right back to the bench. How about that? What a great effort by Tukey. That was the 14th turnover of the night for Etiwanda. And right at the rim, the rebound by Williams. He gets it in. They've run off 6 in a row. All of a sudden, the 11-point lead down to 5. Another takeaway. Boston! Oh!
There we go.
8 points in the last minute 14 for the Sierra Canyon Trailblazers.
I looked over at BJ, and BJ had that calm, cool look that he always has. And I looked at him, and I just kind of like said, "You ready?" It's like, he didn't even say anything. He said,
Tukey's back in there. Here's Boston. Boston to tie it up. You betcha! Oh, they've run off 11 in a row. We are tied. It is the best game going in the country tonight, partner.
I see him take that shot all the time. Like, that's his shot. I'm like, oh, that's in. He made it. I was like, wow, we really came back.
Lock in, execute. Everything right now has to be strong. Hey, no team foul. Be aggressive.
This atmosphere is incredible, dude. This is amazing.
So Bailey into Williams, the McDonald's All-American. 7 seconds to go.
I just had that extra last push, that last drive, you know, just nothing else to say, you know, so I might as well go all out.
Williams fires it up for the lead. He got it! Trailblazers score the game's final 13 points. They do it in 3:03.
We're going to the city!
Congratulations. Woo! We don't know yet if we're going to be able to go to Sacramento for the game. They have issues up there, but we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. We got one more game.
One more. Let's go get state. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Come on, T-Will. Play hard.
Carry on, team. You got 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Now to growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus.
We turn to Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy.
Washington State man testing positive for the virus.
Without symptoms.
Thousands of miles away from China's coronavirus.
Pressure is growing to come up with answers.
The source of infection is unknown.
New alarm bells ringing tonight. Here at home.
Being optimistic.
This story continues to evolve.
More than 400 people have been
Community
sick.
spread.
Man in his 30s.
As the number rises, more confirmed cases.
According to the CDC
The World Health Organization is holding an emergency meeting right now.
One of the guys was like, I don't know if we're going to make the playoff game because this COVID thing seems like a big deal. And I remember distinctly telling him, like, this is going to blow over in a couple of weeks. Nobody cares about this. We're going to Sacramento on Saturday. Whether you're there or not, we're going to be there. And then that Thursday, we definitely got canceled and never made it to Sacramento.
And today, the CIF announced it is canceling the state basketball championships scheduled for this week in Sacramento.
How do you feel about the season now?
I'm looking around, trying to figure out where the banners are going to go, because I'm going to say we're champs, because to me, if you win your last game, you're a champion. For us, winning Southern California is a huge, huge deal. And so we are going to move forward as though we are champions.
This season, for me personally, it was the best year of basketball of my life. Played with some of the best players I could think of playing with. All of that like molded Amari, for sure.
It was a very great experience, bro. We all came together like a lot. I'm just gonna take that to my sophomore year.
Like, you know, somebody say, oh, if you could change it, would you not do it? Obviously, I would want to play more, but I would still go to Sierra Canyon because of the relationships that I built with everybody.
I can give you a clue, what I cannot do is show you my hand. You gon' make me out, you know I want you stop playing.
Looking back, I would say coming here was the most fun I ever had. It's made me a better person and matured me a lot.
Make me cool when I come through, you know you can. I'm gonna get you so high you cannot land.
This is what I want to do. I want to inspire people to live their dreams. That ending to the season isn't quite what we wanted, but I still think that it was a good ending.
Eyes out my window.
Thank you guys for tuning in to this special recruiting video. I know you guys have been waiting a long time. Trust me, I have too. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, I can only choose one school. And with that being said, I'll be committing to
What's next for me is preparing to make another state championship run next year. We're trying to win as many state championships as we can. we're trying to be legendary.
Eyes out my window. Tryna make sure that these don't get one endo. I'm inside this with extendos. No love, no loss, so. Shawty, I think for them tunes, I be playing her keys.
Hey, I get it crunk, I get it wide, I get the party lit outside. I get it crunk, I get it wide, I get the party lit outside.
Ma, don't stop. Ma.
Left hand first, now put your right hand on top. Now, ma.
Throw it up, where you at? Throw it up, where you at? Get a plate, take tonic. I'm finna catch a flat. We pulled up in a photo, and my shirt is a polo. Baby girl flash me like a photo, and I'm by my green like a damn lawnmower. Hey, ma, what? Hey, ma, say what? Ma, what? Don't stop, ma.
I get it crunk, I get it wide, I get the party lit.